Let me set the scene for you. You're me, a week ago, stumbling across the Wikipedia page for the Joseph Smith manuscripts, and suddenly remembering a conversation your mom had with you as a kid about other worlds and other gods that went way over your head. Before I continue this video, I want to clarify a few things. I was raised in the LDS Church, with both sides of my family having been extremely religious. My household itself wasn't super strict, but I was still always part of that culture, especially in my early teen years. I respect everyone's religion, but I also believe in acknowledging the systemic issues involved in religion. From an objective standpoint, the LDS Church has an extremely racist and misogynistic history, and even when I still identified with the Church, I felt that it was important to acknowledge that instead of ignoring it or brushing it under the rug. I no longer consider myself LDS, but I do consider myself both spiritual and religious. I respect my family members that reside within the Church, and I believe that for many people, the Church is a good place for them. Sadly, it is not a good place for people like me. I'm making this video because while I do find some of these concepts humorous, I also find it extremely interesting. If you yourself are LDS and don't feel you would be comfortable laughing about your religion, I would strongly recommend clicking out of this video. When poking fun at certain religious concepts, we must remember to be as respectful as possible in regards to cultural practices. Oftentimes, those making fun of Mormonism will criticize aspects such as dietary restrictions or modesty rules, aspects that are also present in many marginalized religions. Instead, we should be criticizing the actual issues within the LDS Church, such as white supremacy and cultural appropriation. For anybody unfamiliar with the history of the LDS Church and its practices, I'll do my best to provide a brief summary before we get into the thick of things. The Mormon Church, also known as the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, is a Christian religious sect with over 17 million members worldwide. There are 5 books in the LDS theology: the Old Testament, the New Testament, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. It was founded 193 years ago as of 2023 in Fayette, New York. The church is led by a president which is known as the modern-day prophet, but the first of these prophet presidents and its founder was Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith was born in 1805 in Sharon, Vermont. He was one of 11 children. At the time of the Second Great Awakening, there were many competing Christian denominations, and according to LDS church teachings, this is what led a young Joseph Smith to pray and ask God which church was true. In 1820, he allegedly had a vision from God, so on and so forth, that led to the founding of the church. In this video, I'm having my friends react to some of the more interesting aspects of Mormon theology. Much of what I said was paraphrased, so I encourage you to do your own research if you are genuinely interested in any of this from an academic perspective. I apologize if anything I mentioned was not explained properly, as this is for entertainment purposes. I feel comfortable in my ability to laugh about certain aspects of the place that caused a lot of heartache for me. I also have some sensory processing issues, so I wasn't able to caption all of this video accurately, but hopefully it'll make sense regardless. Welcome to subjecting my lovely, lovely friends to the wonders of Mormonism lore.
I wouldn't call them wonders. I think he's fixing his mic or something.
We don't have to do the chart. It's cool. It's cool. The really scary
You
part.
can just send it.
Oh, this is true. This is true.
Yeah, you can just send it in the we have text.
Let me
Did forget the crucial part of Discord servers.
leave me alone.
We have text channels.
Now you're not going to be in the video. I'm just
No,
not.
no.
This is a beautiful, beautiful chart made by Reddit user Narkberry, highlighting the very real Mormon theology involving the cosmos.
This fucking science class all over again. I hate diagrams.
I'm going to explain all of it, at least to the best of my ability. So Joseph Smith published his personal research as part of church doctrine. So this is not a case of somebody interpreting biblical texts very literally, when biblical texts aren't meant to be interpreted that way. This is a case of him writing something very literally. This is allegedly all Joseph Smith was able to gather from the papyri that he bought. If you see at in the top corner there, where it says measurements and conversions, I just want to take a gander.
Yeah, I was looking at that and I'm like, what the fuck am I reading?
I just want to take a
It all makes
gander.
perfect sense. I don't know what you guys are talking about. This all makes sense.
You read Dr. Seuss.
This
One
is normal.
celestial day equals 1 cubit. 1 cubit of time equals 3
My
days.
favorite.
1 cubit equals 1 Kolob day. 1 Kolob day equals 1 obelisk day. 1 Kolob day equals 1,000. He was like, yeah, guys, it's Hebrew and Egyptian. It's not.
7 feet equals 4 cubits. 1 cubit equals 24 inches. So therefore, 4 times 24, 96 inches is 7 feet. Which, wait, is that true?
No, it's very much not.
No.
That's 8 feet.
Also, this is measurement of time,
No
by the way.
math.
This is measurement of time. He is using length to measure time.
What the fuck?
I don't know. It makes sense to me.
Something that also might have caught your attention is the crocodile.
Crocodile. Can we see the head of the crocodile?
I looked into the person who made this and their notes where they kind of explained why they put everything there. Because this is basically just word for word them trying to make sense of what he was writing about. They just said, an alligator swims in space.
What? Yeah. That's my buddy the alligator who swims in space.
Yeah.
I need to start writing this shit down for D&D lore.
Here are some of the notes that the person who created this left. So Earth is a star, obviously. Earth is
Yeah.
on here.
Everybody knows this.
Kolob, we're going to get into Kolob, which is the star closest to heaven.
Isn't Kolob when two YouTubers make a video with each other?
Yeah, it is. You're
Wow.
so smart.
Kolob receives light from close
Sorry.
Isis, from Enish, Goan Dosh, from Pi Van Rosh, from Kolob.
What the fuck?
What?
What's wrong?
Kolob receives power from Ka Van Rosh.
You were just saying things.
Kolob is the first and before creation. It is delegated the power of time over the 15 fixed stars.
One of the
If
most
you look-
accurate times that you could say none of this is in the Bible. Amen.
So as you see, there's this blue line. It says 15 fixed stars, but there's also sometimes 12 or 17. So Kolob is supposedly the Earth used to orbit Kolob, which is this heavenly star, but then it got pushed all the way back to the solar system, and that's why Earth time is the same as time in heaven.
Wow. So much to learn about this beautiful world.
Okay, so in Mormon lore, there's
I never knew
time in
that.
heaven.
Yes. And it is measured on a length scaler.
Why would
That's awesome, man.
What else would we possibly measure time on?
To say that I think it's really funny because we're so similar in so many ways, but I think one of our key differences is that like you grew up with deranged shit, and I just grew up with like Lutheran and some like random ass tiny church.
So if you think all of that before that didn't make any sense, this is the part where he starts to contradict himself.
Oh,
Was it
yay.
more?
Can I just say fingertip to fingertip is 7 feet.
Wingspan, man.
I was gonna make a joke about other tips.
Okay, thanks, Maddie.
Thanks, Maddie.
I think we
I
can
really
move on.
appreciate that, Maddie. You have such a beautiful mind,
Yeah.
and it's really important to me.
I was gonna say 0 feet is the two me and your mom. I can't do this.
Oh man. So
Thanks, Maddie. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
and then Flocisis or Flocisis, I think probably the latter. If it's ripped off of Egyptian terms, it's probably the latter. Is the source of all light and the center of heaven and the universe. And Joseph Smith accidentally includes it as one of the 12 moving planets in our local solar system. Joseph mentions mediums that power and light is distributed through, but they don't map to anything meaningful when you aggregate how he describes light and power are distributed. They appear to have been picked randomly. The same problem exists with the Grand Keys. Both of these terms seem to have sounded awesome, and then he just kind of moved past them.
This man's an artist. I think he should have done some cooler shit.
Joseph
I
Smith
think that
could have
Joseph Smith could have been Tolkien.
This part's really interesting. The light of Flocisis is said to bring smiles to millions of planets.
the happy smiler.
Uncle Joey reveals exactly 12 moving planets in our local solar system. Earth is not included, but the moon is. The moon is uniquely the only moving planet to also be one of the 15 fixed stars. It's impossible to rotate slower than Kolob. An alligator swims in space.
And now here's in space is like the somehow Palpatine returned of this.
Somehow, Palpatine returned. Normal theology. Words that we are learning for the very first time are explained by identifying them as other words we've never heard of, but are equal in meaning. Some words are called Hebrew, but aren't Hebrew words. All of the Egyptian words are made up.
Hey girl, did you know that an alligator swims in space?
Now that I've got your attention, we're gonna talk about fucking mummies. You know,
Wait, like
mummy-
the act of fucking a mummy?
No, fuck, no.
Your mind?
No, that's what I also went to.
Thank you, Ari.
Yeah. I mean, I
I mean,
wouldn't be
it's possible
surprised
for
if he
sure.
fucked a mummy, but I wouldn't go to it immediately in my head. I bet he has. He just didn't tell anybody. Or if he hasn't, he just never had the opportunity.
Maybe
Not
he
it.
dreamed
Oh,
about
he
it.
definitely had the
For
opportunity.
sure.
Oh, he
He definitely
definitely
dreamed
dreamed
about
about
it.
it.
He definitely thought about it all the time.
Dreamed about it? That's really funny. So, So, Joseph Smith was a convicted con man at the time that he founded the Mormon Church.
Unsurprising,
So-
somehow.
Yeah, it's unsurprising that he based part of the theology on this series of Egyptian scrolls that he purchased from shady guys. So the Book of Abraham, which is part of the official, Mormon text, is allegedly transcribed and translated by Joseph Smith from these Egyptian scrolls. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could Joseph Smith translate these scrolls when no other scientist or Egyptologist or archaeologist could? Well,
Because he made it up.
he had the magic glasses. So
No,
the magic
he had
glasses.
the magic glasses, Hannah. Keep up. He had the
Sorry,
magic
fuck.
glasses. God gave him the
Fucking
magic
sorry,
glasses.
didn't know what the magic glasses. Fuck.
Yeah, get it together. The magic glasses that people in
The
biblical
audience has to
times.
take a quiz too. You guys better be taking notes because you guys have to take a quiz.
You're gonna be taking a quiz on this.
Wait, do you mean glasses like wine glasses or like glasses that you see?
Glasses that you see.
Yeah.
Let me send a picture of the Urim and Thummim. Which, by the way, we don't really actually know what they looked like. So he took these glasses with these magic stones and he put them in a hat. And that was how God granted him the gift to read Egyptian hieroglyphs. And yeah, that was just, man, don't even worry about it. I'm gonna read you guys some sections from the Wikipedia page on Kolob and the Joseph Smith papyri, okay?
Oh man, this is what we've all been waiting for.
Yeah. So, the Joseph Smith papyri are Egyptian funerary papyrus fragments from ancient Thebes dated between 300 and 100 BC, which, along with 4 mummies, were once owned by Joseph Smith, the founder of the Latter-day Saint movement. Smith purchased the mummies and papyrus documents from a traveling exhibitor in Kirtland, Ohio, in 1835. Smith said that the papyrus contained the records of the ancient patriarchs Abraham and Joseph. How we feeling?
Buy scrolls from people in 1835.
Yeah, man.
They just got scrolls around. They just taking them and selling them.
And that merchant was me.
Record scratch. It all started in
New York 2023 when I decided to make a Mormon theology video essay with my friends. In 1842, Smith published the first part of the Book of Abraham, which he said was an inspired translation from the papyri.
What the fuck does that mean?
What inspired translation means? Wow.
He was inspired.
He was inspired. He was so inspired. The consensus the consensus among both Mormon and non-Mormon scholars is that the characters on the surviving papyrus fragments do not match Smith's translation. So he made up so much bullshit that even the other Mormons were like, dude, what are you talking about?
Insane.
A translation of the Book of Joseph was
I
never
think you would have
published.
done well on YouTube.
I really do.
Would have done great on YouTube.
TikTok also.
But the scroll purported to be the untranslated Book of Joseph has been found to be a copy of the Egyptian Book of the Dead, a common funerary document, which contains no references to the biblical patriarch Joseph.
Damn.
So,
That's shocking to me.
just to clarify, he found a copy of the Book of the Dead and was like, yeah, guys, this is what tells us all about Kolob and shit.
It's almost
like this guy's a notorious fucking liar and lied his entire life.
Me when I'm in a lying competition and my opponent is Joseph Smith.
Rest in peace, Joseph Smith. You would have loved online misinformation.
Literally. But here's the thing about Joseph Smith, right? Either he's so ballsy that he's attaching his real name to all the scams he does the entire time, or Joseph Smith's a fake name. I know it makes more sense if it's a real name because it's a very common name, but I just think it's funny to call it a fake name.
That's his name, Hannah.
Yeah, but it's funny to say it's fake. Are you not supporting these conspiracy theories? It's fun.
Joseph Smith is a normal ass name. The side of my family that's named
If it's
the
a
Smith
common name, then you know what that means?
What?
That means it's a really good fake name.
Exactly.
The name Smith is so common that the side of my family that is named Smith is not the side of my family that I'm related to Joseph Smith through. That's how many Mormons there are.
Hold on, this is new. You're directly related to Joseph Smith?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know about this one.
He's like my great uncle.
That's fucking crazy.
But
that's
here's
crazy as shit.
Most Mormons are though. They don't ever talk about this. Ever. They don't ever talk about these mummies. The fact that it's just common information is insane to me. Why did he have mummies? I cannot get over it. He
He was
didn't need
collecting.
those. He didn't need those.
He likes stealing random shit from other cultures. I feel like that's
Yeah,
not
he
new.
really does. So he had 4 mummies, and he had looks like 5 different Egyptian documents. And I think this chart is really interesting. Because they show the description from archaeologists, and then they show what Joseph Smith called it. So you've got the Egyptian document, or Book of Breathing, funerary scroll made for a Theban priest named Horus. It is among the earliest known copies of the Book of Breathing, sometimes referred to as a breathing permit or sense in text. Joseph Smith description, Book of Abraham. And then we get the Book of the Dead, funerary scroll. That's the Book of Joseph.
I think he just should have done creative writing.
Society, if Joseph, if he did creative writing, he wouldn't have been able to have sex with all those girls, and he wouldn't have been able to get rich.
God, I wish he was a virgin and poor forever.
The mummies were from the Ptolemaic. I'm gonna say Ptolemaic.
This is my bedtime story, by the way.
Awesome. To be fair, Joseph Smith did not succeed in getting that rich. He got a little rich, but mostly he didn't anticipate how many people wanted to murder him. So he got murdered. But like, don't worry, all his successors got rich. The mummies and papyri date back to Ptolemaic Egypt, sometime between 300 and 100 BC in Thebes, near modern day Luxor. Hold on. So they were quote unquote discovered by Antonio Libolo. And then they went on tour. They went on tour, and
Like One Direction.
yeah, like One Direction.
Like One Direction.
I fucking guess.
Like the Trolls World Tour?
Like the
Wow, guys, that
World Tour.
Like the Ice King Apology Tour.
So
I saw that comic.
everybody was going crazy about mummies at this time. And this guy named Michael Chandler toured the United States displaying 7 of the mummies.
This is just like late 19th century, like, well, not
Piece
even
of
late
shitness.
19th century, just like obsessions with like human bodies and remains and really unethical shit. And fun fact, some of the mummies that this guy was bringing around the U.S., some of the craniums of those are currently held at the University of Pennsylvania because of fucking course they are.
Christ.
And I was at their museum a couple weeks ago for class. So
Oh.
yay.
Great stuff, guys. Guys, oh my god, I didn't see this part before. First of all, I'm gonna skip over some really fucked up shit because we don't need to hear about phrenology. In January 1934, while the mummies were in Louisville, Junius Brutus Booth, famous actor and father of John Wilkes Booth, purchased 2 of
What?
the mummies.
Oh my god.
That's a crazy family line.
Somehow they lost the mummies. Somehow they lost like 4 of the mummies.
Palpatine returned.
Mostly they were probably destroyed by a fire in 1842. And then the remaining 4.
How do you lose a mummy? You forget to cherish her.
Oh, fuck having friends with ADHD. We're never getting through this shit. Chandler brought 4 mummies, 2 scrolls, and additional papyrus fragments to Kirtland, Ohio, which is where the headquarters of the LDS Church was, in July of 1835. And they were kind of speculating, and they were saying, oh, they could have been from the days of Jacob or Moses or David. Joseph Smith, who had no expertise in this area, he basically translated these and then received a certificate authenticating his translation.
Wow.
He had no experience in this.
Wow.
And Chandler, next paragraph is literally, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He only wanted to purchase the papyri, but Chandler wouldn't sell them without the mummies. So he spent
The fucking mummies?
Fucking crazy.
You wouldn't want the mummies? Huh? Fuck, I guess I gotta buy these fucking mummies.
You wouldn't sell the
How am I
papyrus
gonna
and
get
the
rid of these
mummies
mummies,
separately.
man?
They
This is
come
like
together.
this could be the plot of a Drake and Josh episode.
So they spent like $70,000 on these mummies.
Drake, why are there fucking mummies in our living room? I couldn't get the scroll without the mummies, Josh. Drake, where are you gonna put the mummies? I don't know, Josh.
So then they started exhibiting the mummies for money, of course.
If we want to save this town, we got to put on the best mummy exhibition this town has ever seen.
We want to save the
Guys,
church.
if we want to save Mormonism, we have to put on the best mummy exhibition this town's ever seen.
So true.
So yeah, these ancient Egyptian scrolls are now these important documents for the LDS Church. You know, they're religious documents now. Don't worry, they're only important if they belong to religions made up of white people. So then the church started to go broke, and he had to really sell those mummies.
Pouring out
If
these
we want
fucking
to save
mummies.
Mormonism, we have to put on the best mummy show this town's ever seen.
Mummies, $70,000. Someone please help me budget this. My family is dying.
Maybe don't buy the mummies.
Someone please help me budget this. My church is going bankrupt.
So then the mummies and papyri get passed from Mormon household to Mormon household like a hot potato because they had to hide all these important documents because people were trying to kill them. So they get sent to the William Huntington family for a time, and then they even got hidden under teenage Zena Huntington's bed. And so then when people were kind of trying to go to Missouri,
Under my bed.
they got, oh my
When
gosh,
you said something Will Huntington, I thought my brain said Good Will Hunting, like the movie.
they have to
What if-
bring covered wagons filled with mummies to Missouri.
How many mummies did this motherfucker have?
4.
Okay, I thought for some reason when you said just wagons, I just imagined like a full wagon of mummies piled up.
Right? That's what I was thinking too. Also, like, I'm obsessed with, like, the like, ancient scrolls or whatever under her bed. Like, what if she felt them? What if it was, like, a Princess and the Peace situation?
He gave the mummies to his parents, because the people of Missouri were they issued this extermination order, to try and get rid of the Mormons in Missouri.
Yo, Mom, Dad, I'm about to be killed right now. They got the cops on my ass. Can you get these mummies for me?
Can you post these mummies for me? Can you?
That is very much what happened.
Okay, not to interrupt, but I think I'll die tomorrow if I go to sleep. It's 12:39.
Okay.
Goodbye, guys.
Good
I love
night.
you.
Okay, good night.
I love you.
Love you too.
So then he was like, "Yeah, these are like pharaohs and princesses that helped save Moses," which was not
Crazy. That he
which
said
was
that.
not true. They were.
You're telling me he was lying?
Why would he lie? No, he's no.
He would lie.
He would never lie. Guys, who do we really trust? Archaeologists or God?
As an archaeologist, God.
Of course it's God and the Western spirit of America.
After Joseph Smith died, it was kind of elusive for a few years. We know his mom and his wife had them at one point. And then they
The mummies
sold
or the
them
scrolls?
both.
Mm.
And then they sold them to Abel Combs. And then he gave them to the St. Louis Museum, and then a fire burnt them all.
That's awesome.
You know, modern day comes along. Actually, anybody who knows anything about ancient Egypt could pretty much take a look at these and say that they are not what Joseph Smith claimed they were. Which I think goes without saying for sure.
No, but God's always right. Egyptologists are just saying lies.
Yeah, Kolob came from these Egyptian papyrus scrolls. Where Joseph Smith is like, okay, according to his translation of this ancient papyrus, Kolob is the heavenly body nearest to the throne of God. And while the Book of Abraham calls Kolob a star, it also calls planets stars. Therefore, some Latter-day Saint commentators consider Kolob a planet. Which I want to show you guys an image of this, because there were many points in which they were clearly referencing Egyptian theology. And he was like, yeah, that's God. The guy with the Egyptian god who is always portrayed with an erect penis, that's God, and I got rid of the penis. He got rid of the penis in his drawings.
Bottom surgery?
I guess.
He transitioned.
No, I think it's what's it called?
Congrats on the
Castration.
transition, King.
I guess.
I think it's
Yeah.
castration.
God is non-binary.
So
Hey, God, I mean they.
So the Kolob was referenced in The Pearl of Great Price, which was published in 1842, which I just don't think... Did this make more sense to people in 1842? Or was it even more confusing?
I don't know, man.
That's what I want to know.
I think that they just pretended it wasn't
I don't
confusing.
know. Cult
They
type is
pretended it
crazy.
made sense to them because because everybody else was acting like it made sense to them. but
Yeah.
they were
Mhm.
pretending to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everybody
This.
in the 1800s had anxiety. So Abraham also had the Urim and Thummim, the magic glasses. And he used the magic glasses to see Kolob, like thousands of years ago. And one day in Kolob is equal to 1,000 years, according to the measurement of the Earth.
Here's how evolution can still win.
Hold on, wait, I have a fun fact about that.
This isn't like the theology, but some Mormons don't believe dinosaurs ever existed on this world, that's not that crazy for fundamentalist groups. But it's really funny to me that most Mormons believe this, but the
What do they-
official that there aren't dinosaurs.
What do they think the bones are?
They think God put them there to entertain us.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. God was doing a silly one.
So this is the official church website. Okay. Did dinosaurs live and die on this earth long before man came along? There have been no revelations on this question.
Okay,
Nobody's had
We
a
don't
vision
know.
about it yet.
Whatever you say.
And the scientific evidence said yes. You can even learn more about it by studying paleontology if you like, even at church-owned schools. The details of what happened on this planet before Adam and Eve aren't a huge doctrinal concern of ours. The accounts of the creation in the scriptures were not meant to provide a literal scientific explanation of the specific processes, time periods, or events involved. What matters to us is that as part of his plan for us, God created the earth and then created Adam and Eve, who were our first parents and were instrumental in bringing about the fall, which enabled us to be born on earth and participate in God's plan. They're just not worried about it.
Wow.
They're just not really.
Yeah, who gives a shit what happened before?
Wouldn't even notice with all the shit I got going on.
It's either like, no way, dinosaurs aren't real because we don't believe in evolution because of Adam and Eve. Or it's like, honestly, dinosaurs could be real, but we don't actually give a shit. Which personally I think is really awesome. Personally, I'm a really big fan.
I think that's so awesome.
Some Mormon writers argue that at the end times, the Earth will be plucked from the solar system and returned to its original orbit near Kolob.
Wow.
Guys, it's fine. And don't worry, Kolob is literally just a symbol of Jesus Christ. Some people think it's the North Star, some people think it's Sirius, all of that. What's really interesting is that Kolob inspired Battlestar Galactica. Like Glenn A. Larson, he was Mormon, and he used the planet is literally called Kabul. So,
Well,
and it's like,
can I copy your homework?
so he kind of borrowed the plot points. I think that's it, guys.
Wow.
I think this was. I will say, not everything I think was worded in the most factual way, but I did my best when it was half quoting from Wikipedia and half based on just like what we're culturally taught and not what distinctly the doctrine is. But most of this is more or less doctrine. Just kind of depends on how you interpret it. But yeah.
Sadly, the last chunk of audio from our recording session was lost, but there are two notably very hilarious and very convoluted topics that I wanted to briefly cover while I have the opportunity. Imagine your religious lore being so complicated that your afterlife needs a map. That's right. According to the Mormon plan of salvation, we start at the premortal existence, we go through the veil of forgetfulness, we are born on earth, we die, we go to the spirit world, we're all resurrected during the second coming, then we face final judgment, where you either go to the outer darkness, aka hell, the celestial kingdom, the terrestrial kingdom, or the celestial kingdom. The goal is to go to the celestial kingdom, because that's where God and Jesus are. But if you go to the celestial or terrestrial kingdom, you can only visit kingdoms below you. So you can be visited, but you can't go visit your loved ones if they're not in an afterlife above you. Don't worry, it's totally not super scary to have this explained to you as a child. Is it better or worse than Catholic hell? I'm not sure, but it's there. Also, interestingly, there are Quakers on the moon that we need to convert to Mormonism. Okay, it's not exactly like that, but apparently many of the early church leaders talked about how there were people on the moon. And Joseph Smith notably said that they lived up to 1,000 years and were dressed like Quakers. And in one man's patriarchal blessing, he was told that he would be granted the ability to convert these men and women. So that's interesting. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a lot. And I leave you with this.